welcome back to my reviews of my favorite Transformers cartoon ever, Beast Wars. In today's review, we're taking a look at the episode Bad Spark. In this episode, we learn about the Axolotl's dark secret and the indestructible Maximal only known as Protoform X. We begin this episode with Cheetor discovering a large stasis pod marked with an X. This must be some pirate booty.
I'm gonna ask you one more time. That's it.
Freddy.
Did you drop the pirate booty?
Yes!
Okay.
Yes!
Optimus then reveals the Axolotl's dark secret and the origin of Protoform X.
It was originally an attempt to replicate Starscream's mutant indestructible spark with a Maximal. It was a mistake to even try. Though brilliant, it was hopelessly treacherous.
It was put on the Axolotl for what reason, Optimus?
To dump it. Somewhere far. Someplace barren.
Oh, sorry.
Did we really need to have Cheetor fart after that very dark story? I guess having Cheetor break wind was the writer's way of breaking the mood. Still, this is not very heroic of the Maximals. Experimenting on one of their own? And then leaving them on a remote planet? It seems the Maximals are not purely good. Anyways, the Maxis are then attacked by the Preds. When Blackarachnia accidentally blasts Cheetor into some energon that then reacts with the stasis pod, this makes me wonder, was Protoform X's spark extinguished as Optimus says? And did this little jolt of energon reignite it? Or was Protoform X simply sleeping and this woke him up? Perhaps a bit of both? What do you think? Also, I like how we get more of Blackarachnia and Silverbolt here. We already know that she digs him, although she has a funny way of expressing it. But it is very cute how he comes to her rescue after Tarantulas grabs her. Unfortunately, the Protoform's pod somehow unleashes an energon tornado. Somehow. And all the Maximals and Predacons are separated. That is, of course, except for Blackarachnia and Silverbolt.
Are you damaged?
Just enough to make me interesting.
Ooh, I love this line. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to mean, but I still love it. Blackarachnia and Silverbolt continue through the jungle as they come across Tarantulas.
Do not worry. He has been disarmed.
To say the least.
When they come to a log bridge, Blackarachnia tries to betray Silverbolt, but he saves her from a big kitty, and she ends up saving him from the fall. Hopefully the cat landed on its feet.
Are ya damaged?
Just enough to make me interesting.
I still don't know what it means, but it's so cute.
Yuck.
Back at the Axolotl, Optimus and Cheetor have recovered from their injuries and head back out to find Silverbolt, while Dinobot plants some seeds for the future.
It may yet be up to me.
This is obviously foreshadowing the next episode, Code of Hero. Probably the best episode of any Transformers show ever. Also, what Dinobot is doing here is making a backup of his core consciousness, basically creating a save file of himself. Probably because he knows he won't survive the next episode. This backup was going to be used in the Lost Beast Wars episode Dark Glass, which would have seen Rat Trap finding the backup and installing it in Dinobot 2, which would have helped explain why in the series finale, Dinobot 2 started acting more like the original Dinobot after Rampage was destroyed. But sadly, that episode was never produced. So at best, we can only assume that this may have happened off-screen. Anyways, back to this episode, Blackarachnia and Silverbolt discover the rest of Tarantulas torn to bits by Protoform X.
Computer, fashion for me a blade. Curved, very sharp, and composed of energon.
Acknowledged.
Apparently the Predacons have some sort of fabricator, sort of like in Spider-Man Far From Home and No Way Home. which will basically build anything for you that you want. Finally, Blackarachnia and Silverbolt encounter Protoform X in his crab mode. Really? A crab? You have this big immortal monster and he turns into Sebastian from The Little Mermaid? Maybe it's just me because I'm an Atlantic Canadian girl, but crabs aren't very scary. Some are even cute. I think a much better alt mode would have been something like an octopus. Just imagine his tentacles grabbing and squeezing Blackarachnia. No, not in that kind of way. Get your minds out of the gutter. I mean, Protoform X is already a monster. Why not make him some kind of Lovecraftian creature as well? Blackrachnia and Silverbolt proved to be no match for Protoform X. But fortunately, reinforcements arrive. After forcing him off a cliff, Protoform X transforms into his crab tank mode. His gravity-defying crab tank mode. Seriously? This big heavy boy is climbing the cliff in tank mode? But Silverbolt manages to break his treads, causing him to fall. But not before he blasts Blackarachnia off an adjacent ledge, who Silverbolt heroically saves. Aww. And Blackarachnia departs. What, no kiss goodnight?
Like I needed him to catch me anyway.
That's what I was thinking too. I guess Blackarachnia just wanted an excuse to be held in Silverbolt's big strong arms, huh? And this episode ends with Megatron removing half of Protoform X's spark, dubbing him Rampage, and inducting him into the Predacons. Well, this was a great episode. Kind of a weird first date for Blackarachnia and Silverbolt, but it was very cute seeing the beginnings of their relationship start to form here. It also functioned as our introduction to the new character Rampage, not to be confused with the G1 Predacon of the same name. These two are totally unrelated. I love how this episode kind of felt like a horror movie. The dark backstory and the spooky scenes of Rampage lurking in the background never being fully revealed until the end. It was so well done. And as I mentioned, this episode also foreshadows the next one. But we'll get to that in a couple weeks. Well, what about you? What did you think of this episode of Beast Wars? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you here next time for the episode Code of Hero. Like I mentioned, probably the best episode of Beast Wars. And most likely the best episode of Transformers to ever exist, before or since. So I'll see you back here next time for that.